My wife said, "Your grandmother's antique violin is just junk. I sold it for my plastic surgery." I calmly handed her the appraisal documents showing I purchased the real instrument back last week. The auction house then immediately revealed she was only selling a cheap replica. Her final attempt at betrayal publicly destroyed her credibility. Step 1 setup. I, Arthur, age 40, male, had been with Vivian, age 35, for 7 years. I worked as a senior civil engineer for a specialized infrastructure firm in Seattle, Washington. My visible salary was a stable $180,000 per year. I specialized in proprietary, complex seismic structural modeling for public works. My greatest asset was my family heirloom, my grandmother's antique violin, a unique Italian instrument from the 1700s, which I kept locked in a fireproof safe. Vivian worked as a corporate wellness consultant. Her income was highly commission-based and entirely image-driven, averaging $95,000 annually. Our combined visible income of $275,000 was constantly strained by Vivian's demands for outward status. We owned a modern house on Bainbridge Island, valued at $1,500,000, which I inherited from my parents. I drove a practical Toyota Tacoma for quiet stability. Vivian insisted on leasing a powerful Range Rover Sport to maintain her wealthy client image. We frequently dined at expensive, waterfront restaurants for her required networking events. Our social life was entirely dominated by her relentless pursuit of visible prestige. In late February, a monumental career opportunity arrived that I had quietly pursued. I was offered the executive position of Director of Global Infrastructure for a major international fund. The elite role was based in Dubai, UAE. The package was precisely the ultimate step in high-level engineering strategy. It included a base salary of $450,000. Additionally, they offered a substantial $100,000 annual housing stipend. The total annual cash compensation was a verifiable $550,000. I waited until we were reviewing the excessive credit card statements Vivian had incurred before presenting the opportunity. I laid the contract summary on the counter. "This job is the absolute peak of my structural field," I stated calmly. "It moves us to Dubai with nearly triple the visible income," I explained, citing the massive figures. Vivian did not even pick up the document. She answered with immediate disdain. "Dubai is just flashy desert heat, and the position sounds incredibly dull, Arthur." "The salary is $450,000, I responded, keeping my voice level. She scoffed sharply, dismissing the entire proposition. Director of Global Infrastructure is just a predictable, anonymous desk job. It involves strategic, multi-billion-dollar asset management, I answered steadily. She then focused on her own image. "My clients need me here, and your job is an irrelevant distraction." Her complete dismissal of my intellectual value and future stability was the final trigger. Step 2 Update 1. I quietly accepted the Director of Global Infrastructure position the next morning. My start date was set for the 1st of June, allowing 3 months for precise transition and legal finalization. I began preparing for the move without involving Vivian in any specifics. Vivian continued her pattern of repeating dismissive comments publicly. She frequently told her friend, Nina, a fellow consultant, that my new job was a pathetic retreat. "Arthur is running away to hide his low ambition," Vivian often told Nina. Nina and her husband, Patrick, openly sided with Vivian's focus on visible success. They questioned my choice of city. "Why trade Seattle for a tiny, remote office, Arthur?" Patrick asked me once. "Professional security requires strategic positioning," I replied factually. I initiated decisive steps to formalize the separation. I established a new banking relationship in Zurich, transferring the bulk of my liquid personal assets. I quietly secured a high-end flat in Dubai's Jumeirah Lakes Towers. Crucially, I contacted my sister, Clara, a financial analyst, and legally transferred the deed of the Bainbridge Island house entirely to her name. Furthermore, I maintained close, confidential communication with Dr. Alara Chen, the certified rare instrument appraiser. Alara had years ago confirmed the switch. The original grandmother's antique violin was safely stored and its replica was displayed. Step 3 Update 2 The confrontation arrived abruptly in late May, just before my departure. I had finalized the last of the legal documents. I waited until Vivian was reviewing a plastic surgeon's quote. "I am moving to Dubai in 2 days," I stated simply. "The divorce filing is also complete." Vivian's face hardened instantly. "You cannot move and ruin my social standing with this filing." "The relocation and the legal filing are both executed," I confirmed. "The situation is final." She launched into a furious confrontation, demanding I surrender the house and cancel the job. She claimed I was betraying her future. "This is an absolute betrayal of my time," she insisted loudly. "You consistently mocked my stability and intellect," I countered calmly. She then delivered the final, predictable ultimatum, focused on the heirloom she planned to liquidate. My wife said, "Your grandmother's antique violin is just junk. I sold it for my plastic surgery." I calmly handed her the appraisal documents showing I purchased the real instrument back last week. The auction house then immediately revealed she was only selling a cheap replica. Her final attempt at betrayal publicly destroyed her credibility. Step 4 Update 3 The fallout over the next several weeks was precisely as brutal as intended. Vivian's attempt to liquidate the heirloom for profit was met with the devastating knowledge that she had only sold a worthless replica. The auction house, which was now fully aware of the attempted fraud, immediately canceled the sale and issued a public statement citing the discovery of the forgery. Vivian immediately cycled through intense anger and disbelief. She sent me frantic, unintelligible messages demanding an explanation for the replica. "You hid the true violin from me for years," she accused me loudly in a text. "The premarital asset was protected by a legal switch," I replied factually. She was forced to confront the separation and the massive public damage to her reputation. She refused to pack or cooperate with the house transfer. This denial was quickly met by a legal notice from my lawyer regarding the liquidation of joint property. I remained calm and analytically detached through the rapid process. My focus was entirely on the high-level transition to Dubai. My emotional state was stable and entirely focused on my new responsibilities. Moving day arrived with a quiet, decisive finality. I shipped my few personal belongings to the UAE. Vivian was absent, dealing with the aftermath of the auction scandal. I flew directly to Dubai with a profound sense of forward momentum and control. My first detailed view of my new life in Dubai, UAE, was one of immense efficiency and strategic calm. My new office, overlooking the Persian Gulf, felt significant. My flat in Jumeirah Lakes Towers was modern and secure. The work as director of global infrastructure was demanding, intellectually stimulating, and immediately rewarding. The public news regarding the sale of the antique violin replica ensured everyone knew my new location was justified. Step 5 Update 4 I was quickly thriving professionally in the new environment. The role required decisive leadership and analytical precision in global data strategy. My team was highly supportive and respected my ethics. Socially, I embraced the city's stability and order. I began attending classical music concerts. I connected with new colleagues at the lab and started volunteering at a local engineering college. My relationship with Dr. Alara Chen, the appraiser, deepened into a committed, supportive partnership. Alara was moving to Dubai to consult for a major cultural foundation. Financially, the change was dramatic. The $550,000 package was excellent, and the strategic control over my assets was absolute. My personal wealth was highly secure. I purchased a high-end, reliable Tesla Model X for my travel across the region. My lifestyle improvement was controlled, focused entirely on investment and stability. In October, I achieved my first major milestone, successfully leading a critical acquisition. This earned me a substantial mid-year performance bonus of $80,000. Around this time, the first hesitant tendrils of Vivian's network began reaching out. Nina, the consultant friend, sent me a tentative LinkedIn message. The gossip regarding the antique violin replica sale was already global news in their circles. "Hey Arthur, is that story about the antique instrument true?" her message read. "The auction house confirmed the public details," I replied factually. Patrick, her partner, reached out to Clara, my sister, confused. Clara politely confirmed the house transfer and my new employment status. The lie that my job was low-level was entirely exposed. Step 6, Update 5. In December, I decided to make my career success completely public and undeniable. I posted a detailed update on LinkedIn describing the successful acquisition and my role. I included a professional photo of myself in the Dubai office. The post was factual and professional, detailing my title, Executive Director of Global Infrastructure Strategy. Vivian quickly learned the full truth about my wealth and status. She had minimized and mocked the job offer for months. She now saw undeniable proof of my ultimate professional achievement. Within hours of the post, Vivian sent me a flood of pleading messages, alternating between demanding explanations and emotional accusations. "You ruined my image with that replica scandal," she claimed furiously. "I acted to protect my premarital property," I responded with factual clarity. "You should have left the house equity for my stability," she argued illogically. "The premarital assets were legally protected," I countered. Nina and Patrick sent explicit apology emails. Nina confessed that Vivian had convinced them I was a timid analyst running from a bad life. "We feel completely foolish for not seeing your strategic power," Nina wrote. My sister, Clara, called from Seattle. "Your victory for strategic planning is complete, Arthur," Clara confirmed. Step 7, Update 6. In late January, Vivian flew to Dubai unannounced. She claimed she was there for a vague wellness seminar, but admitted her true purpose was to see me. She called my office line and asked to meet. I agreed to meet her at a quiet, public cafe near the marina. When she sat down, she immediately launched into a practice performance. She claimed she had spent the last year realizing her life was too focused on material possessions. "I see things clearly now, Arthur," she said, looking straight at me. "What exactly do you see clearly?" I asked, holding my coffee cup steadily. "I see I was foolish and overly focused on the wrong things," she continued, her voice soft. I referred only to her past actions and her final attempt at public fraud. "You sold a fake violin for profit," I stated the fact. "That was only out of fear of loss," she responded quickly. I then referenced her current employment status, which was terminated after the scandal. "Your employment status proves your lack of integrity," I pointed out. She shifted tactics and insisted on returning, attempting to appeal to our shared past. "I want to come back to Dubai," she said. "We can try again." I declined calmly, explaining that the separation was permanent and the ethical breach was too great. "My circumstances have changed, but yours have not," I told her firmly. Step 8, Update 7. Vivian did not accept the decline gracefully. She attempted a brief, aggressive period of legal retaliation. Her first move was to send a letter demanding a cut of the premarital inheritance. My lawyer, Mr. Chen, managed the legal attempt efficiently. Mr. Chen sent a clinically precise reply that cited the finality of the divorce and the legal structure of the inherited property. The lawyer ceased contact immediately after receiving Mr. Chen's letter. Online, Vivian tried to damage my professional reputation. She posted vague accusations on a popular finance forum, implying my infrastructure design was flawed. She claimed I was an unethical corporate criminal. Her online claims quickly collapsed under scrutiny. Patrick and Nina, aware of her deeper deception, publicly defended my ethics. Alara publicly posted a detailed explanation of the auction house's anti-fraud measures. Vivian's attempts at character assassination backfired severely. Step 9 Update 8. 1 year later, my life in Dubai had achieved a stable, prosperous equilibrium. I was wealthier, more established as executive director, and deeply satisfied with my independence. My salary was now $650,000, reflecting my permanent title. I was in a committed, respectful relationship with Dr. Alara Chen. We were engaged to be married and lived together in a high-rise flat overlooking the sea. In June, on the anniversary of our final conversation, Vivian sent a final, short message of regret via an old email address. I realize my terrible mistake, the email read. I should have valued the truth, not the lie, she continued. I took the time to craft a short, polite reply that closed the door completely. I wish you well in your future endeavors, I wrote briefly. I then immediately archived the message. Step 10 Final update. 6 months after the final email, I was hosting a major investment dinner in Dubai. While hosting the dinner, I was approached by Mr. Alastair Thorne, the head of the international auction house that managed the original sale of the replica. Mr. Thorne was the ultimate authority figure in her former world. Mr. Thorne apologized to me, his voice low and serious. Arthur, I need to apologize for the public nature of your divorce. He admitted his own mistake in overlooking the ethical void in Vivian's character. He confessed that he had privately worried about the sale of the heirloom. I wrongly assumed her social standing equaled artistic integrity, Mr. Thorne stated. He then reflected on the core insult, the antique violin. We should have supported your decision to protect your heirloom and your privacy. I accepted his apology with a calm understanding. I acknowledged that his admission was significant. I explained that my actions were based on defending my family's legacy from mercenary destruction. My reflection on the entire process yielded a direct life lesson. The greatest revenge is achieved by ensuring that your opponent's betrayal leads only to the public exposure of their own fraud. I secured peace by calmly exposing her attempted scam, which neutralized her leverage entirely. The quiet, logical closure came from knowing my methodical defense had secured both my professional future and an infinitely superior partner.